Yes, it's people, and welcome back to what we did a lot more in the summer, but we're coming back to this, which is the latest Chelsea transfer news, or the bridge transfer news roundup special. This is something I usually do in the transfer window whenever there's moves that are being made. We usually come around, about 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. where we just discuss some of the latest transfers in regards to Chelsea whenever it's really hot. And as of today, I would say it's been quite a bit of news that's come out. I'll obviously give you guys my personal opinions. I have some few guests that will be coming on as well, who will be giving their opinions as well. But as always, make sure as you're coming in to like, share, subscribe. Make sure to tell a friend, helps the channel out, makes it always bigger, better, and stronger, as they say. So thank you for all of you for coming on. I'm doing well. I'm doing amazing. Thank you for asking in chat. But listen, let's really get into what do they call it? The meat and potatoes? That's not even nice, to be honest. Meat and potatoes. Depends on what meat you eat, to be honest. But listen, we move. But listen, let's get into it, man. A lot of interesting news coming out today, particularly in regards to the centre-back market. Excuse me, but a lot of news coming out in regards to the Chelsea centre-back market, which we're going to be discussing for sure. You're going to be hearing some of my personal thoughts and opinions in regards to it, and what I would like to think, obviously, would like to happen, of course, and obviously some more stuff that's going to be discussed with my co-hosts as well. But yeah, what should we? Let's start with a bit more of the easier news before my fellow co-hosts come on, and that is obviously in regards to one of the major news that came out today, of course. Bear with me while I bring that one up right now. I literally just need to just do the share screen section. If it wants to do share screen, Akio share screen, you know what I mean? No. I don't usually like to use this source, but to be honest, today we're gonna have to use him. So it is what it is, and that is, of course, in regards to none other than Mr. Jacobs Bent, and that is, of course, that PSG are holding a genuine interest in Nkunku, apparently. But listen, again, that's something we've known about for a while. There's also obviously been some news in regards to the fact from David Ornstein relaying the fact that United, Juventus, and Tottenham Hotspur are all interested in trying to take Kolo Muani on loan. And for me, one thing that I have to say, and I'll say it like this, is that this is clearly for me, setting up some level of transfer domino where you move away from what's it called, Colomwani gets moved on a loan deal. They then bring in someone like a Christopher Nkunku to their team, and I could really see that happening, whether it be on a loan or permanent, will be something else to be discussed, obviously at a later point in time. But we'll have to, of course, wait and see. But for me personally, I just think I'm looking at this news, I'm reading this news. It clearly, for me, on some level, is setting up the Nkunku departure. Whether it be obviously in January, whether it be in the summer, I'm really looking more so towards this happening, obviously in Jan. But he clearly is set to go. I think that's the best way to really represent that. Let me put my headphones on really quick so I can hear people. There we go. And my first host that is joining me, of course, you see this guy to me a lot of the time on Casually FC. He is the one, the only, the final boss himself, Mr. Winter Surfer. How are you doing, Surfer? Are you doing good?
I'm doing good, pal. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I was actually just discussing, obviously, Christopher Nkunku and Colomwani possibly now actually going out on loan. What are your general thoughts on that? I was saying that a January move could be likely, but at the end of the day, will it happen in January or the summer? It does look like he's going to be going to PSG either way.
The biggest news for me is that we're not linked to Carlo Mawani, so that's a big...
Double in chat, man. Double in chat, man. You got to do doubles in chat for that one, man.
Big up, Steve. I was like that. When David Ornstein dropped that bomber and our name wasn't added up.
I mean, listen, man, miracles can happen. Big up to RSM also for coming along as well.
Big up.
RSM's been hiding, by the way, guys. He's been hiding for last 2 weeks. You've not seen him. But big up to him.
Bro, listen. When you have a big family, sometimes the holidays can be hectic. Got people visiting, etc., etc. But listen,
I know.
I'm back in. No. I'm back in. I'm locked in though.
No, okay,
what are we talking about?
I'll let you finish off Surfer though first. Obviously, no good advantage you were saying, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think Nkunku's going to leave unless it's like an extraordinary offer or he wants to leave, like if he says. And even then, I just don't see, unless it wouldn't be, to me, they're going to try and strike some type of loan with an obligation or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
I get what you mean.
Then we need a replacement good to go, right? We need someone in. So that would be my concern. Going, okay, if you're going to get who's coming in then? Because it can't be relying on Marc Goobag, what his name is, and João Felix, something like that. And we need some reinforcement. And everyone's going to go, well, what about Liam Delap? If we sign Liam Delap, I know the deal that's going to happen. We're going to send him back to Ipswich from loan for 6 months.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unless you're really willing to pay like a big
Don't even tell me that. Don't even say Ferguson to me. That bloke's injury prone to the extreme.
The problem that I'm wondering about, yeah, and I'm gonna let you obviously talk on this RSM, is that I do wonder, man. The Ferguson stuff came out. Obviously, I think it was like a month and a half ago, right? That was in like early December, late November, right? And at the time, I thought that is such a Chelsea signing to make. I know that, what I mean? I was thinking that's such a Chelsea thing to do. Even the Colomwani stuff kind of don't make sense to me because I was like, he's almost identical in terms of like play style to Jackson. So I was always like, that don't really make sense to me personally. But Aaron Ferguson, we've been linked to him before. He's definitely a different archetype on some level in terms of the body type, what he can do and stuff like that. So is that a possibility? I would like to not think it's a possibility, but I do think there is some level to it. There is some level of, I would argue, hint to that. There's obviously been reports coming out that the manager is pushing heavily for a striker as well. So, obviously not including the other position that we're going to be talking about, which there seems to be like some heavy movement on that's happened this evening. But what are your thoughts on just that aspect of it at the end of the day?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very clear that I think behind the scenes Maresca is asking for reinforcements that he trusts. I think these past couple games have been very enough of a message. I think even him speaking on him not trusting the backups, like when him saying like Fofana is going to be out for the season, then Fofana saying I have no idea why he's saying that. Like it's just going to be 4 to 6 weeks. I'm not going to be out for the season. So I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a bit. I just don't see realistically what for example, in terms of the striker position, what we realistically can get done this January about that position. I don't see it. Because I don't think I'm happy with any of the options that would be available at this moment in time. In the summer, I'm a lot more hopeful, et cetera, et cetera. For example, like Gyökeres, I don't think is leaving at this moment in time during the winter. Osimhen not leaving this moment in time during the winter. Liam Delap, if we get him, going back on loan. Right. So and like winter, I don't even want to hear Evan Ferguson. Like I don't want to hear that, bro. I don't want to hear it.
The thing
So
is, bro, you know,
so what are we doing? What are we doing, bro? Like,
I know CSC Steve made the point of West Ham being linked to, which I know is like legit because it came from Matt Law. That was like actually, I don't know how that guy Matt Law's got all the sources in the world, and he's linked to like every London club for some reason. But Evan, the thing for me is, yeah, it feels like a Chelsea transfer waiting to happen. That's what scares me. You know what I mean? What scares me about him in particular, yeah, until I see him off the board, you know what I mean? It scares me that he's a transfer I can see happening. That's what it is, guys. If you know,
I think Liam Delap's gone ahead of him.
No. I think Liam Delap is ahead of him in terms of like what they want to get. But I think if you think about it from the perspective of if the manager needs someone in the short term,
yeah, but we don't know. This guy doesn't have a short term. He hardly plays. What's his short term? Like 1 or 2 matches or something.
Yeah, that
is. He's not ripping up trees. I mean, you know, what's he done? Has he even scored?
He don't even play regularly there, bro. He don't even
play regularly there. He gets up, gets upended by João Pedro, Ruta, and a 68-year-old Danny Welbeck. Do you know what I mean? It's like Evan Ferguson. I never understood the hype with Evan Ferguson, even when he was fit. He was not as if he stood out for me. Do you know what I mean? He never stood out.
I think the thing was he was, if I stand corrected, he was also during that era, where Brighton, had the likes of McAllister, Caicedo, et cetera. So they had a good track record, and so Ferguson was like the one that was like next up that everybody was hyped about. I think he kind of I agree with you. I don't think he specifically did anything to deserve the hype he got. I think it was just because of the other hits that Brighton had at that time. That's what I think it is, to be honest.
Fair enough. But listen, I think of this striker talk, we're just gonna have to basically wait and see what happens. I think that's the best thing to do. But we might as well start with what is arguably the biggest news that's coming out as of right now. And where is it? No, I'm not gonna do it. I was gonna do a little joke on Anselmino, but we'll keep it pushing. I'm gonna keep it pushing. I'm gonna be nice.
Let the kid live.
But obviously, now I know yesterday when I was on Marshall's show for KGFC, he was thinking that this report about Chalobah coming back because there were like some of these ITKs were saying Chelsea's asking for Chalobah back, and like it was like not many major reporters were coming out of it. Obviously, Mr. T0 himself, I would probably call him, Simon Johnson of The Athletic, is now reporting that Chelsea are considering bringing back Trevor Chalobah as an option for centre backs, and obviously Kieran Gill obviously is backing up that said report. Kieran Gill also says that sense around Chelsea is that although Maresca said Acheampong was best player versus Palace, it would be too soon for him to be starting regularly, which I think is a very, very fair point at the end of the day. Then Fabrizio then comes up the breaking news that Chelsea have discussed Marc Guehi internally. Now, I think the interesting thing about Marc Guehi is people seem to forget about this. In the summer, if I'm not mistaken, you guys can also help me out here. In the summer, we actually were interested in Marc Guehi, if I'm not mistaken. We're interested in him. Obviously, Newcastle were ahead of us because they were making like actual consistent bids for him, but weren't able to get him at the time, if I'm not mistaken. But I know that Chelsea were actually interested in getting him. Chelsea, and then obviously, this one actually, I'll save this for later. Into that, if Chelsea decide to attack for Marc Guehi, Chalobah could be a point of contact in terms of discussion between clubs. Chelsea think Guehi is one of the most interesting options. So, one of the more interesting option is obviously interesting. And then this other thing about Guehi is not the only name for CB, which we'll discuss later. And this guy's popped up, you know what I mean? This guy didn't even have any sources for us last season. Seems that he's got his Chelsea source back. I don't know who that may be. That's what I'm going to say. Chalobah.
Come on,
that's what I'm saying.
We know who the source is, bro.
I'm not going to speak too much, but hashtag noticing, as they say on here. Chalobah is open to conversations about returning to Chelsea, and Guehi would command around 170k a week, which I think isn't that like
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
That's Sam Mokbo's, I would probably say, quite
He's only
reliable.
on 50, right? He's only on 50, right? At Palace, I think.
Big
Is that
up,
right?
big up to my boys. Yeah, if
Something
not,
like
let me
that.
know.
Yeah,
I no, but remember, but you know what it is, right? Surfer. Sometimes when these guys go to the bigger clubs,
yeah.
I think I've just been raided. Big up to my boys, yeah, for the raid actually. Big up to
Big
my
up,
boys, yeah,
yeah.
for the raid. I just deep that it was a raid when I saw the numbers. So
Yeah,
big
big
up to
up.
our boy, man. Big up to our boy Vita as well. Player links to Chelsea is always quality. Hit the like button. Oh, this guy, bro, this guy. But anyway, 170k a week. Obviously, listen, you know, and many people know this. I used to have a little meme, yeah, on the on Casually FC before I started this channel, where we used to make a joke about Nkunku Christ. Do you remember that one? Do you remember that surfer? I was like, listen, this guy's gonna be the savior when he comes back. We're gonna start cooking.
Yeah.
Listen, maybe Anselmino Christ now. That's all I'm gonna say. We're gonna.
Okay.
But listen, obviously, Anselmino's first day at Cobham Premier League today, and just the last bit, which because this is the literally breaking news an hour ago, according to Andy Dillon. Chelsea are said to have an offer rejected from Marc Guehi that was way below Palace's expectations and described as a silly offer. And there was just, I saved the other tweet here. A source said the offer was a long way off being a fair price. It was silly, really, and they need to offer more to even have a hope of getting a deal done. Now,
So they took the piss. Pretty much is what
that is what they are. So that's what they're saying literally right now. But you know what? What I'm gonna do here is let's go back to this one as such. I'm gonna ask you guys. I'm gonna go through each centre back separately. Let's start with the easiest one. Anselmino. Is he gonna be the truth? Will Anselmino,
No, bro.
save us?
No.
Listen, this is for the show, bro. Come on, man.
He can't play.
He ain't got
a visa. He ain't got a visa.
Is he even allowed to have that picture taken in the ground?
They immediately sent him out of the country after that photo. You know, like they had
what you don't see to the side of it was a couple of
I just next to him, bro. Yeah, let's get out of it.
Immigration was taking the picture.
Yeah.
That's his immigration picture, not his Chelsea.
That was his immigration. That was his intake photo. Yeah.
It's his passport photo.
Anselmino drinking baby milk, he ain't ready. Fair enough. But obviously, listen, I said that a little bit, obviously, in jest about the fact that obviously it's Anselmino the truth, because obviously I think it's fair to say everyone here already knows he's not going to be able to cut it straight away. You know what I mean? It's going to be quite hard for the young lad to even do anything of that sort. So that was obviously a little bit of banter. But let's actually start with, because I know Surfer, you were saying something to me on Carefree Lewis or when I was in the comments. Chalobah, right? So I want to start with Chalobah first.
Yeah.
Now, my take actually, if I'm looking at both Chalobah and Guehi, is that I'm not really necessarily a big fan of Guehi in the sense that I don't really personally rate him that well. But for me, if I had a choice between Chalobah and Guehi, I'm basically saying we might as well bring back Chalobah. I still think he's a competent centre back for us, can do a job for us at the end of the day. There's no point of really us signing Guehi for like what it's looked like to be like a 50 million to 60 million price range is probably what I would expect for him. Then let's just bring back Chalobah. So I know you had obviously different opinions to that.
Yeah.
What would you say to that, bro?
To me, if Chalobah's, and for anyone says that, I don't want to use Disassi as the level, do you know what I mean? In terms of you should be better than Disassi, as should be given. Yeah,
of course.
But Chalobah to me doesn't come in and really improve. Like he's on the same level as Tosin and Badiashile. I think there's some like revisionist history in terms of like how well he did. He was good. He was a good solid squad player, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Solid squad. Yes. Whereas Guehi, I think, will come in and start right away. He has the leadership tangibles, which I quite like about him. He can play the left or right, even though he's right-footed, stuff like that. And it would, even if Fofana gets fit, it would give us 3 legitimate starters. Do you know what I mean? And you can even play all 3 of them at once. But it just means that then you've got a distance, if you get all 3 of them, a distance between having to use a Tosin, having to use a Badiashile, having to use a Disassi. You can elevate maybe an Achimpong a bit more, something like that. And I just think, I don't think I think this deal is just about the price for me. About him, like I don't really care how much you pay for someone. My thing would be one of the things I'm actually glad is we're doing this early in the window, or we look like we're doing it early in the window. We're not leaving it to this is in January 26th. Do you understand what I'm saying? If we was like, that's 5 days. But if you want to get it done, I don't want all this like pussyfooting around.
Oh my God.
Lucas, it's just not true, bro. You really need to. Marc Guehi. This is the problem I have. Chelsea fans have got this effed up revisionist history that Chelsea have always signed world-class centre-backs. That's just not true.
Just competent ones, I would probably say.
I wouldn't class Thiago Silva because he wasn't world-class, but he's right at the end of his career. I think Carvalho was just on the cusp. I think we made him world-class.
Yes.
Everyone's saying Rudiger's world-class now. Not from his time at Chelsea, but
no, he's
playing for Real Madrid.
I remember when he's
playing for Real Madrid, right? Look at the centre backs we've had in the past. You wouldn't call them technically world class. David Luiz, Cahill, Alex, Ivanovic, stuff like that played there. Mm-hmm. So and really, there's only really less than 5 world class centre backs. Like you off the top of your head, you might struggle to get to 5. Off the top of my head, people probably would say Van Dijk, Saliba, and Rudiger, and then maybe a Bastoni, but he's only really just started. You know what I mean? So I have no problem with signing Guehi. I think he will do a job here. I think he will improve us. I think him and Colwell could have a good partnership. I think he will help Colwell with his leadership and stuff like that, because Colwell's a bit of a hothead at the moment. Ivanovic was, yes, but the problem is no one knew of him. We signed Ivanovic in 07 and he didn't play till 08. His first game was a Champions League quarterfinal against Liverpool away under Gus Hiddink or something like that. Ivanovic became world class, but he's more
at Chelsea. Yes,
at Chelsea, but he became world class. He was exactly him as well. That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. We've never bought a centre back at a world class level. We've turned them into a world class level. That's what happened. We've never bought. If you even look at our history, the players we bought at world class level in every position, it's a very short list. Do you know what I mean?
And they didn't all work out to the time as well.
Exactly. Right? Look at the ones we did. Oh, Andrei Shevchenko. Oh, world class striker.
Remember Crespo had a great season at AC Milan, and then but RSM.
I know Carvalho came as a Champions League winner, but no one really knew him apart from that season in the Champions League, and he became world class with us. Do you know what I mean? So it's that. So I have no problem with Guehi, and we know he wants to leave Palace. He wanted to go to he was going to go to Newcastle if they agreed a price. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's no bother. I don't think the wages will be 100%, but even if they are, like we discussed it on Lewis's channel, if it's an extra 20 grand in over 5 years, that's only 5 million working out. If you can secure 4th place, you know what I mean, or Champions League.
I'm just but the wages though, Safa, that's probably in and around what I think, isn't it? What Enzo's making, what Caicedo's making. So I'm not. I feel that's why I'm not.
That's not even breaking. Remember, they also said, I don't think 150 is the wage cap. I think they said like 150 to 180 or even sometimes 200.
I know it is. Yes.
Depends on the player, right? They're willing to break that or not. But even if he does get to that, and you do all the rest of the business to recall, isn't that good enough price to pay to secure top Champions League football, to secure the kit, the Jordan, if that's the thing for next year, for the money coming in, so you spend it on other players instead of having to sell bogus hotels for the next 5 years to or to sell your own training ground to yourself or something like that. But if we're going on the player, listen, is he world class? No, he's not world class, but I think he'll do a more than reasonable job for us. Do you know what I mean?
I get what you mean. Nino Moy, we're gonna get back to your comment, because obviously we know that apparently according to Fabrizio, that's not the only centre back we're looking at. Yeah. So we'll get to that in a bit. But before I let you speak, Mr. RSM, I was just gonna make the point that I get what you're saying about Marc Guehi. Am I gonna say he's the worst defender that we're gonna buy? No, he's definitely not gonna be the worst defender we're gonna buy. When we were trying to move on Chalobah, I was always of the thought, it's all right if you move on from him respectfully. Again, it made sense for me at the end of the day, but I'm not gonna be one of those ones like Chalobah's amazing.
I would love that. Don't get me wrong, I would love. Make a cheeky bid. Make a cheeky £40 million bid for Rudiger right now or something. No, I don't care.
Of course, yeah, of course,
bro. Every day of the week. Of course I would. But this is what made me a bit like when Lewis on the stream. He had that. Remember that tweet about the list of the so-called the list of them.
Yeah.
And I was going,
we're gonna get to that because
my reaction was, why is everyone freaking out? Have we not seen for the past 2 years what the model is and what the list of the players?
Exactly.
Like,
I don't know.
for me, freaking out.
I feel like we have to. Sadly, we need to realize, guys. We are. Listen, I know this is a joke that I say all the time, but this is what we need to understand. We are the Leonardo DiCaprio of age range. You need to understand that, boys. Yeah, it's 18 to a maximum of 25. Okay, that's what the age range we're buying right now. Okay,
how old is Tosin?
Listen, that's
unless it's a free transfer. That was
no. I'm just trying to think because I think even then he's not that.
We signed him.
He's 26 basically.
That's what I'm saying. Like I was about to say, I don't even think he's that far off from 25, bro.
No, but basically that's what I'm saying to you though. Like that's the age we're working in. So the reality is, we need to work in that area and hope we can get the guys that are most experienced within that age range. Sadly, that's what this is going to come down.
I think we're a bit uneasy being used for the Ronald Araujo deal because I think his contract's up or something or coming up.
I think in 18 months as
well.
Contract.
He's injured as well, right? Did he have a
No, he came back. He just came back. But he had a bad injury before. Like,
bad injury. Yeah.
But RSM, bro, I know you're waiting. The floor is yours.
Man. I mean, I agree with Lucas Costa in the sense that I think Chalobah and Marc Guehi, I don't think they're the solutions. I really don't. I think so much of what we've spoken about in terms of the squad is the profiling of players. And for example, we have too many people in the 10. We don't have enough center midfielders that can cover for Caicedo or Enzo, et cetera, et cetera. These are the conversations we're having. If we get Guehi, I think Guehi is a step above Chalobah in my opinion, because also I think when the season started, when I had more free time, when I looked at how Chalobah was playing, bro, there's some goals for Crystal Palace that he got burned on or that he defended poorly. And these are the same things that I saw at Chelsea, because I don't think he was bad, but he could do a job. He could do a job, but he's not excellent. I think it comes to a point where people just have very short-term memory. And so in their minds, they have the sassiest performances and they forget what Chalobah happened. Same thing that happened with Sanchez when he went on a decent run and people completely forgot about what happened last season and why he got dropped. A lot of fans have short-term memory. With Marc Guehi, I think I wouldn't mind it, but for me, there's two sticking points to that. Is one, I don't think it's the profile that we need, because we need somebody that has that recovery pace like Fofana. That is what is killing us. So many times, I swear, like these breakaways that happen, if Fofana's there, I fancy our chances better than when he's not, than if anybody else in that position. Just nobody in our team has a recovery pace. Does Fofana have his Bozo moments? Yeah. Is he amazing? Is he perfect? No. But we need to have at least one profile in that backline that has the pace to get back and is able to scramble for the ball when we're caught on the back foot. We don't have that. The second point is, and I don't know if you brought this up either, is I don't know necessarily how our percentage that we have in terms of the sell-on works when we are the buying club. Do you guys know that? I'm not.
I think that's why you're seeing prices of 50 to 55. I think they've taken, because they wanted 75 from Newcastle, that with the sell-on clause obviously going to us. So I think that's why they factored in it's going to be 50 or 55. Because they're going to take off that amount.
What they'll do, they may be like, we'll waive off that percentage.
We'll waive off what we were going to charge Newcastle 70, 75, and we'll waive off whatever this is. And
got it.
A room of between 50 and 60 million.
Yeah. So for me, like, that's another thing too. Like, I don't want to have an overinvestment in this position, because I think it's still something that we're going to have to address probably in the summer in terms of our backline. And this is my thing, for example, even with Ronald Araujo, bro, I watch Barcelona and Madrid are the teams I follow in the Liga. And the thing with Araujo is he is prone to a bozo moment. That brother has a bozo moment in him.
You 100%.
I'm being dead serious, bro. And I've seen it even for Uruguay, because I also watch the South American qualifiers, bro. He's a good defender, but his Achilles heel is that bozo moment.
I think we have to establish that the modern day defense now is not made up of one central defender we're seeing partnerships formed, right?
Mm.
The Arsenal's one, Saliba and Gabriel. Gabriel's arguably been better than Saliba the past 2.5 years. He's not doing mostly bozo moments.
I would say the one difference would be like Liverpool. That's it. You can put Van Dijk with anybody.
That's also a problem because they haven't got a settled back partnership with Van Dijk, so they're leaking more goals now. You know what I mean? The Konate's been in and out.
I hear it.
Nottingham Forest, as well as their great form this season, is built on that centre back partnership. The Mario and I can't remember pronouncing his name. Why do you think the Bournemouth guys are being mentioned? They're like tiny partnerships. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. Partnerships are now where it's the Van Dijk's the last of a dying breed in terms of centre back, where you could get multiple partners for him instead of an established one, and you'll probably get through a season. You know, same with us with like John Terry, right? He had multiple defensive partners, and in real life as well. So it's dirty dog, dirty human being. But so I think he's trying to establish a partnership.
You know where it's at. I'm just gonna say quickly if I add, just quickly, yeah. You know what I would say? Terry and like Van Dijk are examples of what I like to call anchors. Like they're able to just anchor the whole line. I'd probably just say more than anything else.
But I don't think that works. I don't think that works anymore because look at Arsenal's title thing a couple of years ago when Saliba was out and they had to put Rob Holding in there. They still had an established left back, established right back, and Gabriel and the goalkeeper. But it's a cog now. I mean, even this season, you know, they've been helped because they've got Timber there. We can have that sort of established. We can try and build a partnership between a Guehi and a Caldwell. You've got an established of Cucurella there. Change the frigging bozo behind you, the goalkeeper, and mix and match the right backs, whoever's fit. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's just one of those. Someone brought in the chat beautifully. We had the same type of discussion. I know it's different club and everything. Do you remember all the discussion about when we were linked to Nathan Ake?
Yes, I remember.
Had the same sort of thing. It's like, he's not good enough. He's not Chelsea.
No, I can't lie to you. I remember. Listen, Nathan Ake for me was a great option. I don't know why people were hating on Nathan Ake.
I mean, I know Man City turned us down because they couldn't find a replacement. That's fine. So it's the same reaction. It's like it's just mad. It's just madness. People have to really look at this market in the position.
Thank you. That's what I was about to say. Yes.
And go,
yes.
Everyone's nearly a question mark, or like everyone. Oh, why do we get Bastoni? There's a reason Calafiori was allowed to leave and go out of Italy because he's not that good. Bastoni is, and he won't leave Italy. Same as Barella. They will never leave Italy. If they do, it'll be when they're 35 years old. It's the only time they'll leave.
You know what it is? People need to realize this, and I'm going to add to Surf as well because I think Surf's point was something I was about to say after him. Currently in centre backs, we've got guys that are really like new guys, very raw talent, need to be developed right now, And if you buy those guys, there needs to be a natural acceptance that you're gonna have to wait for these guys for a year or two,
2 or 3 years,
2 or 3 years, and then you're gonna be there. And then you've got the other one, which is the elites, which are like quite a small group. But the problem is they are established clubs, right? And they're more than happy to stay where they're at right now. And if you are even going to go after them, you know the fee they're going to command is going to be in the upwards of the 80, 90, 100 million range, right? And there's very little in between, right? The in between is that you've got guys that are good at some things but are really bad at other things, right? And so if that's the case, if that's the case, and I think for us, we need to look at it from like a short to medium term as well, right? In the sense that realistically, I know there was a report today came out of people, Sam Mokbo, that reported this as well, that Chelsea are trying to move on Disasi. Realistically, that's what's going to happen, right? Realistically,
he definitely did a centre back.
Right. Chalobah is also going to probably be leaving, whether we like to admit or not. If he does get recorded up like that, that's probably going to happen. Even Badi Shaw, with how he's moving, Fafana might be one of them ones where they're finding like he's getting too injury prone with cut losses. So we need guys that are going to be there for us on the bench in the short to medium term. Anyway, right now, Guehi can be a starter for us, and then hopefully we get the right pairings that we need in the future. So I think on that level, I hear that though. I definitely hear that point. But like there were other links I saw today for other centre backs which we'll get to, and I'm just like, No, we can't do that, bro. You know what I mean? It's too
They're
like
all
I think
question marks, right? They're all question. We've
yeah,
got question marks
like
already. So
the way that loans are trying to move on from like Kuzanov, like this early, I'm like, listen, Kuzanov, yeah, I watched League on a lot. He's too raw right now, bro. He's still learning his
yeah,
trade. It's too early,
even
bro.
if he was like, ooh, it's still have a question mark because he's 20 years old.
Yeah,
he's
it's
still
like
old.
signing Lenny Yoro, in my personal opinion, bro. Lenny Yoro had a great season, when he was at Lille, and I was like, oh, this guy's a great guy. But I knew him, that guy needed a good 2 to 3 seasons before he can reach his potential.
Why was
even at the right environment.
Why did John Terry end up being so good? What happened to him at the start when he first broke into the Chelsea team? He was in that team, but who did he play with mostly in centre back?
It was is it Desailly or was it
Desailly, Marcel Desailly. For those first 2 years or 2-3 years of Terry breaking in, him and Gallas both came around about the same time, maybe Gallas year after. They were marshaled and shepherded by Marcel Desailly. We don't have that. And bringing in another one, we've already got Chalobah in who needs someone like that.
Exactly.
And that's why I said I would go back to Guehi. I like his leadership thing. He was the best centre back, best England centre back. You know, and we talked about partnership. Him and Joachim Andersen had a brilliant partnership at Palace.
You know, that's another one that I was really annoyed by. He didn't get in the side. You know, I was really annoyed, bro. Personally,
I don't mind him. I don't mind Joachim Andersen leaving Palace. He went to Fulham.
That's what I'm saying. Why did we not even do that? You know the price he went for, by the way, it was like
30 million.
And I was like, million? Chelsea, man, guys, you can see what you need. Cheeky 30 million bid, no?
But they had a great partnership, and he's trying to form up as a choir, and I just don't think that's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's good enough. But you said when you're going on about the list that we saw earlier, all I saw was just question marks over every single one of them.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's got question marks because we don't know how good step up, you know, to a better team. Yep. But the rest of them were like this guy. All I hear about is Diamande, right? And he's tall. Yeah, but
Diamande had a really poor last season, by the way.
Right.
And like, and this is something that I'm sure you've heard about.
I don't want to buy anyone else from Benfica because I think
Diamande's been.
You know what I mean? That Araujo broke. Even watching like North Sides, like watch along sometimes. Even he says like Araujo's not ready to leave Benfica. Yeah,
a lot of these guys aren't ready to leave. I think a big problem that we've got right now is that I think big teams are trying to buy these guys really young, but they're not realizing they're not going to be ready to make the step because they ain't got the EXP. They haven't got the experience points yet. They haven't and that's the issue. Like, this is why, by the way, I kind of like what we've done of Santos, where we're like, we're not going to push you into the team. We'll give you 2 years into actual Strasbourg.
We did handle them well so far. We have
and that is actually the right way if you want to handle like these guys that are stars for you. They can't just be thrown. Some of them can be thrown in because
this Argentinian kid should go out on loan for 2 years.
Exactly.
Before he comes back here.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say as well, like this is something that I just seen in general. Since I've been watching football, is that like you can take a lot more risks with playing young attackers than you can with playing young defenders. Because if you can pick up the attacking side of the game a lot more intuitively than necessarily defensively. So defensive players, they need that experience. You know, they need that backbone of games played and minutes played to be able to make the correct and effective decisions. The issue is that in defense, I mean in attack, you can lose the ball and your team might recover. If you're a defender and you mess up, you're cooked. And especially if you're young and that starts messing with your confidence, it's even worse. That's why I'm just like, I don't want like I don't know. It's a struggle. That's why with Guehi, I completely understand and I agree with the leadership thing because I think that's important. That's experience. And I think that's something that intangible is something that I think the team could just rely on a lot, especially with the moment that we're going through, like right now.
Fair enough. This is the worst generation of CV strikers and GKs that I've seen. All 3 positions we need to improvement on. We need improvements in law. But that's just listen. That is that's just the reality we've got to face. But you know what? Yeah, let's actually. I don't have that list with me right now, but listen, we move. But let's actually talk about some of the CBs that I know that we've spoken about. Now, Ronald Araujo, my issue with him is that we're probably going to run into a similar issue that we already have with Fofana and Reece James. Very injury prone, right? Yes, I know he's already prone to a burn behavior, as RSM obviously stated previously. And so my issue becomes of him, how many games is he actually going to give me realistically? In La Liga, where the pace is a lot more slower, they actually play a lot more tiki-taka football and he's getting injured in. If you bring him into this league, yeah, we're in trouble, in my personal opinion, with him. Another guy that I know that's been spoken about is Kuzanov, right? Kuzanov, again, I said before, too raw of a talent. Still needs a few more years in Ligue 1. No doubt about that. There's another one that's actually in Ligue 1, Chalobah, if I'm not mistaken, who I would give the similar argument to as well. So, these other guys. Araujo is going to be too expensive at this point in time, so there's no point of us speaking about him.
Yes,
Monday as well, no point of us speaking about him. Now, I know people are speaking about the Bournemouth duo, Hoyson and Zabani. Now, realistically, I'm shocked that Charles did not go for Hoyson, actually, because he's someone that was only worth 50 million. They brought him for 50 million from Juventus, and he had a great season there as well. And I thought our scouts actually do a better job, particularly in that centre back market, of getting someone like him. But they didn't get him. He's obviously what's his name? He's going to be now worth 60 million, boys. So unless the club is willing to pay 60, 70 million for a guy like Hoyson, then even saving of Zabani, by the way, too. Those two in particular, 60 million is going to be the price range for those two.
He wasn't on the list, and someone's mentioning him in the chat right now, Jonathan, but I really like the Mascara defender from Valencia.
Oh, again, I watched him against
question marks.
Valencia.
Again, he falls in the same category as question marks. He's 2021. Yeah. That's no problem. We're in a market right now where, let's face it, the established centre backs of name are unobtainable.
Yep.
Now, if I was running Chelsea right now, I would, like I said, I'd make a bid for Rudiger, and I'd be speaking to Van Dijk's camp right now if I was running Chelsea.
Bro, I would be trying to do anything possible for Van Dijk right now under the table.
I'd be making how much do you want?
I would be doing. Listen, I need you, big man, next season. What is? Listen, blank.
I'm doing what they do with Pedro Neto, bro. I'm doing what they do with Pedro Neto. We're moving in silence, bro. I'm gonna be real.
Van Dijk is the one guy I would actually say blank check, bro. I need you here for 2 seasons to train Cole, to train some of my upcoming centre backs. Yeah, I need you for 2 seasons, bro. You know what I mean?
Yes, I totally agree. So I'd be doing. I'd be doing that. I'd be checking. If you want the, I just everyone's got questions. Even like someone might what about Braithwaite from Everton? Again, question marks. Do you know what I mean?
No,
question marks again.
He can't rotate fast enough for me, bro. Respectfully,
exactly right. So
can't rotate fast enough.
Yeah, and so we're in a market where we have to be very careful who we pick. And people might not Guehi or things like that, but I think he's a solid option. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Solid option, what we're looking for.
But you know what it is? He's Guehi right now is looking at the best of the bad bunch. Realistically, I think the way you put it might actually be the best of the bad bunch. But you know what? We haven't spoken about this other guy as much, Chalobah. If that happens instead of Guehi, what do you think is going to happen in that situation if you do bring back Chalobah for the rest of the season rather than obviously spending money on Guehi essentially? What are your thoughts on that instead? Do you think that's still going to be a hit, a miss, or what are we saying on that one?
It's a long season.
Yeah, it's a long season. I don't think it moves the needle that much. Like I said, I don't think he's so far ahead or that far ahead of tossing a Badia Shield, so to speak. He's a serviceable, good squad member, good option. You know what I mean? To come in now and again, maybe play a right back now and again. Do you know what I mean?
I get what you mean.
He's good. That's why I wasn't even going to jump on Lewis's stream earlier, but I think me and Jimmy had the same. We didn't communicate. I think we had the same idea when we were hearing this Chalobah revisionism. Like bless Scott, but when he said Chalobah's better than all our centre backs, and I was like. No,
again, bro. Recency bias, bro. Recency bias is the issue.
And
listen, man, I will never forget when he got cooked by Matoma. That was nasty. I remember that was like one of his final games last night as well.
What was that?
Remember when I think that was the season think was it Lampard was still boss for us or something like that at the time, like before obviously Poch came in, and I think it was our last game of the season. It was him versus Matoma, and he was like the right side of centre back.
Oh yeah, but remember that was the games where they were going, oh Chelsea Poch's fans. And this isn't all on Chalobah, by the way, but we weren't playing well in those 5 games. You know what I mean? We didn't play well. I mean, we escaped with most of those victories. You know what I mean? So I'm not using that. And like
I remember, bro. I remember. Oh God, yeah, I remember the was it the Brighton game?
Yeah, that's what you just said. Yeah,
that was
yep. He's good. He's not outstanding. He's not going to be the best. He's a good option. That's why I keep saying if he was that good and people wanted him online, then why is it only Palace that came in for him? Right?
Why isn't there a big queue? That was the big thing for me. I always said, it surprised me why no other club went in for Chalobah. That was something, that did definitely surprise me. As
he was linked to Spurs most of the summer. Nothing happened. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Nada.
But question. Yeah. Obviously we don't know if Chalobah's gonna happen. We don't know. We know Guehi apparently Bizza starting to at least hit in on some level. Of course, the sun. Obviously, we have to take that with a little bit of a pinch of salt. I don't have like my salt packet today because obviously I usually keep one of as a transfer window around. But if we do sign one of these younger CBs, I am gonna be a little bit disappointed in the club because it's like we're doing the reverse Jackson. What I like, bro, because like one of the issues I've always had of Jackson is that we're putting too much pressure on a guy that's definitely not ready. Now, when this young guy comes in, the amount of pressure is going to be on him to perform straight away. It's going to be immense, and you don't want that to be taking place at all. So that's one thing I would say. I don't know if you guys would agree with that too. Like we don't want that to happen at all. So that's one thing I will say.
No, and if it is Guehi, if you want to recall people, get it done. I know we're playing Morecambe on the weekend. We've essentially got a week now until the Bournemouth game.
Mm-hmm.
Get these deals done. You know what I mean? Get them done as soon as possible.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, just get them done or sign someone on loan for 6 months. That I thought Douglas Luiz might be available on loan. 6 months, no obligation. Try and get a deal like that done for 6 months. If you don't want to recall Santos, right? If you don't want to recall
we're
Santos,
gonna get to that one as well.
See, because I have an opinion about that, and like, I think I've been arguing with people about it.
Let me share this instead. So listen, obviously I think we've done enough talk about centre backs and stuff like that coming in. Like, let's talk about this one. And that is obviously, as you know, Cassaday's been trying to be sold. For context, we bought Cassaday for around about 20 million. I think it was pounds and not euros. And we're now trying to move him on because he wants regular minutes. Obviously Torino was one of the clubs that was interested in him. Chelsea obviously rejected that 9.9 million offer. They want at least 15 million for him. I think he's on the book value currently is 12.5 million or something like that. It's in that range. And Lazio are now also trying to come in for Cassaday. So again, you're losing now more midfield depth. You know what I mean? That's not including the other midfielder that you're not using, but in Renato Vega. What do we do in this case? Obviously, I'll come back to like the Cassaday discussion because I think there's a larger point into that. But if you are losing Cassaday, you're losing more midfield depth, more depth. Obviously, we know that Lavia is a very injury-prone player. Vega apparently not trusted yet. It seems by the manager to be getting chances to start in that position. What do we do?
We're light anyway in midfield.
Yep.
Even if this guy goes, we are light already.
Definitely.
If Lavia is not fit and he doesn't want to use Carney Chukwuemeka or KDH or Vega, then we don't have any other. We only have Caicedo and Enzo. And that was my fear at the start of the season. We didn't have enough midfielders. Now, if you don't want to recall Santos, like we said, you've got to find yourself a short-term loan deal for someone to bring in. If you're not going to bring Leslie back either, you've got to find a loan deal and a player who can actually start. Because I don't think Castell was ever going to really start. So I don't think Carney Chukwuemeka is going to start. I don't think KDH is going to start in most of these games. I don't think Vega's going to start either. So it needs to be someone that you bring in on loan for the rest of the year who can generally be a part of the squad. Off the top of my head, like I said, Douglas Luiz from Juventus. Apparently he's available. Premier League proven. 6-month loan deal. Don't do obligation, just do an option. Don't pick up the option and then move on. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anyone else at the moment, but that would be my plan. But Cassidy going, doesn't really going to. It's going to be a spec in the history of Chelsea Football Club. It's just going to be one of those deals that we signed. We signed a kid, didn't work out, sold him, move on, next.
Yep, pretty much.
Here's an idea. Why don't you bring Douglas Luiz in loan? Why don't you promote Raki Saka, whatever his name is? Probably, give him like the spare minutes that you're not going to give to the other guys. Give him and use Vega a bit more as well. I mean, especially like as a sub, so you can rotate Caicedo and Enzo a bit more and not flog them.
Fair enough. What are your thoughts, RSM?
Yeah, I mean, I think that midfield issue is like not going to be solved by Cassidy either. So if that's not going to be solved, you might as well move him on. It is what it is. Like we need to start. And we're saying that we're light in terms of replacements for Lavia and Caicedo and Enzo. Then we need to start making slots open in the roster to bring people in. It is what it is, and Cassidy got to go. And I'm sure we'll revisit this in the summer when we see other people that also have to go. I think this summer we got a lot of attacking midfield depth, but then in terms of actually, central midfielders, we probably did not need to let some people go on loan. But again, the Ugochukwu stuff, like we didn't know that he wasn't gonna get the playtime, et cetera, et cetera. Like there's a lot to be said about that. Real quick because I have to go soon. Is that in terms of the Santos thing? If he is killing it in the league for Strasbourg and he's developing well, I don't want to interrupt that. I'm gonna be real. Like I think if we are talking about this season, the objective being top 4 in Conference League, and you're gonna tell me that hinges on Santos being here, then we already failed from the outset, from the beginning of the season with the squad building.
Mm-hmm.
If you're telling me that our season hinges on this kid who's still developing in Strasbourg to come back here and fill in for a couple games, if God forbid anything were to happen to Caicedo or Enzo, like at that point it's already cooked. We already failed. So just leave the kid there. Let him continue to develop. Next season will be the season. That's what I think should happen. Me personally.
Fair enough. But one thing that what I will say, I feel like Cassidy, I feel like I worry that he's going to be in a long list of people that we buy, where we are maybe looking to flip him for a profit. But because we don't have enough multi clubs to actually send these guys to actually develop and actually improve in value, right? Or we give these guys bad loans, we're basically breaking even on them. You know what I mean? Breaking even or making a little profit on. And that, I think, is an aspect here where I look at the club and I'm like, we need to be either expanding, much more in terms of getting more clubs to send these guys to, or whoever our loan guy is needs to be making sure we get better loans for these players to actually improve upon, such that if we still think the surplus of requirements are not good enough, we can still make the relevant money for them at the end of the day. Now, in regards to the Santos thing, I think the problem we need to realize, and I think the question we need to ask ourselves is Strasbourg, who is bigger, Strasbourg or Chelsea, in the sense that for Blueco, they need to realize, for their greater good, they need the biggest club to be performing well. And if that means they have to respectfully cook the other club, and that's part of their multi-club model, then it shouldn't matter, in my personal opinion. Even though, yes, obviously Santos is improving, getting the game time and improving as a player, he is somewhat needed here now. That's just like the cold hard facts. And I think, obviously, I know Andrew spoke about Douglas Luiz, who I think is a good option, even though I know he's not had a great season at Juve so far from some of the games that I've seen from him, and I've listened to a few Juve fans themselves. If you can't find someone else to be like midfield depth that you can sign that about, I know there's that guy that they were trying to get from Getafe, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll have to wait and see. But listen, at the end of the day, just try to get stuff done. Who the hell just said Dinesh, bro? Chill out, bro. Please. Kalma.
Please, man.
Please. Listen, Tammy Abraham, and Nicholas Jackson are currently on the same level, respectfully. And there's literally no difference between them both. Okay, so that's a take that I stand by the way. They're literally the same level. But we move. But guys, obviously last 5 minutes because I have to actually go on to American Waffle. Listen, final thoughts. What do you think? I'm gonna go to you first, RSM, before I go to Safa. What do you think is the more likely scenario to? Sorry, no, not that. What do you think is gonna happen in this window? What do you think is gonna be the signings? Do you think there's gonna be any outgoings? What's your overall projection for the window for Chelsea? You're on mute, by the way, if you're speaking.
In terms of defense, I definitely think we get a center back in guaranteed. Whether that's a recall or we buy or loan, whatever, I think that's 100% gonna happen, regardless of anything.
Okay.
In terms of the midfield, I think that's where there's a lot more questions because we can argue about which center back we'd want, who to recall, et cetera, but I think guaranteed there's movement happening in the defense this window. I think the midfield is where it gets a bit more questionable. Are they going to like you said, like at this point in time, with the way that Lavia's injuries are going, if he's not a reliable, just to cover for Caicedo in some games, like Caicedo, like we're running him into the ground. We can't keep doing this. We literally can't. We see the level that he's at, obviously he's very physically robust, but like we can't keep doing this. We can't. And so if that's the case, what's gonna happen? Are we gonna recall Leslie? Are we going to look to recall Santos? Are we gonna do this or that? I think there's a lot more question marks about that than there's about the center backs. And I can't really make a prediction yet because right now it seems all the media attention and all the focus and all the news surrounding Chelsea has to do with the defense. I think, and it looks like they're looking to, like I think Andrew said, they're looking to get that done very early in the window. So I think once we get that sorted, I think that's when we start seeing maybe things potentially pop up about, cover in the midfield, recalling potentially. We'll see.
I don't think we're going to recall either Santos or Leslie unless there's an injury to Caicedo or Enzo. There's more likely that we bring someone and loan ourselves than actually recall them. Because if you notice, Leslie had deleted all thing of Southampton off his social media page when Russell Martin was in charge, and then this new guy's come in and started in the last couple of games.
Exactly, yeah.
So I don't reckon we're going to recall either. Because I'm not. If we were, wouldn't we have just brought one of them back like January 1st or something like that? Why would we wait 7 days into it? Do you know what I mean? Both teams aren't in any extra competitions. Like Southampton aren't in the League Cup, but still they're going to get relegated anyway.
Apologies, but I gotta head out, boys. See ya. Have a good one. Appreciate it as always. Love. See you guys.
But I think. Yeah, so I think we're going to get, if it is a midfield coming in, it's going to be someone on loan.
Mm-hmm.
It might not even be Douglas Luiz, it might be someone else. There needs to be someone who can come in and rotate with those guys, and that for the remainder of the season. And then we bring Santos in, or at least someone in that can help, and hopefully we get Lavia fit who can play for most of the second half of the season. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. But I think the Guehi one's going to get done because we haven't heard it yet. We might hear it, but we haven't. While we've heard tonight that Palace are going to or have rejected something, they haven't said outright no, he's not for sale. Do you know?
They're just like, oh, it's a silly offer. Pay up some more. That's basically
even in the summer, right? With Newcastle, it was they just wanted this amount of money, and Newcastle weren't willing to pay it because of the sell-on clause.
Exactly.
So. And we know he's okay with leaving. He was okay going to Newcastle in the summer. Do you know what I mean? So get that done quickly, get him in. And then the Chalobah thing, even if the deal is Chalobah stays there for another season on loan. Do you know what I mean? Even stuff like just do it. Stuff like that. I mean, it'd be great to get Guehi in and bring Chalobah back. That'd be a great move. Do you know what I mean? Because then you've got then you could easily say the top two are at the moment. So the top two are Guehi, Colwell. Next one is Chalobah / Tosin.
Exactly.
And then you can rotate Achimpong in and out some games. You know what I mean? It's like that.
Yeah.
So that's what I would try and do. I don't think Palace would go for it because leave him up at Shit Creek, essentially. Do you know what I mean? So, but just get it done. No, I wouldn't take. No, not an obligation.
Option.
It'd be an option, and don't take up the option.
The thing of the Sancho one, I remember at the time his thing became an obligation, obviously because we finished 14th. The reason why I didn't mind the Sancho one was like we're spending so little on him that it can't fail. Does that make sense? Like his actual price.
Also, remember, we're getting extra money in from the World Club Cup just for entering the goddamn tournament. We're going to get more money the further we get in that tournament. Sort of like Champions League. Do you know what I mean? So you get that in. If we finish fourth, you're going to get the Champions League money in, the new kit, the sponsorship. We're going to get money in for the front of the shirt sponsor in soon as well. So it's like, I just, if you're in a top 4 race, which you are in, if you can have things in that can help you rubber stamp a top 4 finish or help you achieve that, don't rely on the 5th place because we don't know if it will be a 5th place.
100%. I agree with that.
Have that. Get the 4th. Don't care if, where's the standards? I know what this team is. We
need to realize. We need to realize. There's an objective. We need to reach our minimum objective, and that is just top 4.
That's
top
what I mean.
4 Conference League.
The reason I said we're in a title race is because I want to be further away from the main role, to be further away from the top 4 race.
Exactly.
You weren't going to win it at all. It was to be.
You set your target high, bro, so that you can at least reach your actual.
If you get to March and April, and Chelsea, it won't happen now, obviously. But if Chelsea we got to end of March, early April, and Chelsea was still being thought about in a title race, so to speak, I would still go, well, that means we are further away from a top 4 race before even thinking about title.
Exactly.
And that's what we should be doing, because Newcastle in good form, Man City are creeping up. You know what I mean? Forest are there.
We entered the business.
Top 4 is not a guarantee. Top 4 is not a guarantee. We have to guarantee that. You get Guehi in, get him in as soon as possible, have him ready to go for Bournemouth, Wolves, and let's go. If you can get Chalobah in as well, fine. If you get another midfielder, Douglas Luiz in, fine. Bring him in. A striker, I don't think we will, because I don't think Nkunku leaves unless he says he wants to, and it's an extraordinary deal. And even if he goes on loan to PSG, it has to be an obligation.
I'll be honest, man. Listen,
it has to be an obligation.
I'm not even listen. If you're able to swap Nkunku, I'm not even. I know you don't want Barcola, and I'm saying. I'm saying no Barcola to this. If you're able to get like a guy like a Vitinha or even like a Luis from them, because that's like 2 good midfielders. Provide and add to our actual midfield. That is something I'll be looking at, bro. I'll be honest. Can you make something like that happen, Chelsea?
I'll tell you this right now. Nkunku goes, get me another striker and get me someone like Danny Olmo. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I think it's Danny Olmo actually.
Take advantage of the situation at Barcelona. Take advantage.
Exactly.
Take advantage of it.
Dier Emery's going to be a mission in Barcelona. That's like their local.
Oh no!
No way. I'm not even saying that. They need to realize that. Obviously, see. Thank you, Lucas, for that one.
He's staying, and he's only leaving for like a Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Man City. Do you know what I mean?
With Olmo, I would say to everyone,
I don't think that won't happen. I'm just saying if Nkunku leaves.
No, I'm actually saying. I'm saying if you actually but I'm saying Olmo because the Barca stuff is happening tomorrow, actually Tuesday, and that's when we're gonna find out the result.
Finally, the Liga doing something at last.
Yeah, certainly. So, if something happens there, then maybe you're interested, Chelsea. That's one to look at for sure. And
here's sorry to say wait.
No, bro, that's fine, bro.
Here's one that was brought up earlier on Lewis's stream that wasn't talked about here. I don't know if you saw it. It wasn't Araujo. Jules Koundé's name was brought up. If they're having financial issues, do you know what I mean? Test the waters, right?
Test the waters with him. Test the waters for him. I think he's a good option in terms of like defensively. He's very good defensively. Just don't play him right back.
I want to go to Villarreal and try and see if that Bayona bloke wants to leave or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
That's a good one too. The thing is, there's 2 guys that I would look at in attack, but I don't think we need one of them. Like Alex Baena he's a great creative guy, but like
he's a 10, but they play him on the left, don't they? That's the thing.
But the problem with him is that he's too creative. I know that's a bad thing to say, but like I mean that in terms of you got Sancho, there's a lot of creativity already. So like we need guys that are essentially shooters at this point. So that's what.
Or if Nkunku's right, this is it, Ahmed. If Nkunku goes, then Osman has to come in.
You have to get that happening. I'll be honest. Listen, even I'm not a big fan of this deal. I'm saying
he's not the greatest. I'm sorry. If Nkunku goes, then Osman has to come in.
Exactly.
If I see an Evan Ferguson, I might go nuclear. I swear to God, right now, I might
Dude,
go nuclear, and
it's actually stupid on our part though, because it's like he's so injury prone. Why would he bring in another injury prone guy in a team full of injury proneness already?
You want him to you having to go to Nkunku for not running and pressing. This guy might break down in training. You know what I mean?
He's not good enough, man.
Yeah.
Listen.
Okay. Sign Liam Delap. Okay. Bring him in for the next season. He's not going to come in. It's just, it has to be now. We have to stop thinking about the future and think about now to get to the future. The only way you get to the future is do something in the present. You want to do the present? Exactly. In the present. Don't go. We'll be fine. Don't rest on it. Don't take any risks now. Okay.
100%.
Don't take any risks. Risk has got us as far as I think in his head, as far as he can, or as near as much. He squeezed as much out of this squad in terms of now we're getting the injuries that are biting us. Okay, they're biting us. We don't have sufficient replacements in terms of quality and numbers in some areas of the pitch. And we know we're not going. No. That's an Arsenal target.
You know what? Actually,
look this right now. Arsenal are going to sign that guy for 70 to 75 million in the summer. Book that right now. That's what Arsenal are going to go. They're going to.
That's it, man.
You know what I'm thinking? This is mad because I even saw it today. How the quality was missing. That Mateus Cunha is a star right there. Do you know what I mean? He could do the false nine.
But he's going to cost you a lot of money. He's going to cost you a lot of money because of that.
Do it now. If Nkunku gets sold, unless he asks to be sold, this is all in. But for me, the final thing I'll say, not for Vlahovic, no. I was going to say to him as well. Like he's been found out. If Nkunku is sold or is on loan for an obligation somewhere, it has to be Osterman. That's my demand. It has to be Osterman.
I know, Lucas, you're not going to like Osterman, me say, but the reality is, guys, we just need someone that's good at that job, bro.
We need someone. We need someone.
I'm sorry to say it. We just need someone that's good at that job, bro. Like, the problem for me right now is, I know people say Gyökeres. I'm very honest with people. Gyökeres, I have a big asterisk on after.
Have you seen how he's played since Amarin's left?
I know the way he's seen it since Amarin left, but even Samu, the way Samu is cooking in that league, after the way he was playing in La Liga, I have to have serious question marks here on this Gyökeres I'm very apprehensive, I should say, even in general.
He's got a hat trick. This is how much Port Lisbon fell off. He's got a hat trick in the last game, but they only drew 4-4. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. But I actually have to go now. Obviously, you can catch me on the American Waffle. We actually are going to go there. But listen, I want you to put into the chat here this is for Safi in particular. Tell him, Ahmad, we want you to leave. That's it, you know what I mean? Ahmad, we want you to leave. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying, man. Bro, I'm not being brainwashed. I just think for me, Lucas, I look at the options. I think for me, what's really making me think like this is that I've come to kind of like times that I think we have to be competing next season. I know South agrees with me when I say this. I know you agree with me. We need to compete, bro. And the problem is, if you bring in Delap, with all due respect to Delap, he's not going to be ready to compete. He's not going to be ready to compete, bro.
No,
you know what I mean?
No. Yes. And we're going to only do that deal. We're going to earn that. Ipswich are only going to allow us to do that deal if they take him on loan for the rest of the season to help see if they can survive.
Exactly, bro.
And if we want him, we can't take the chance to leave it to the summer because others might want him. You know what I mean? And City have got a buyback or a sell-on clause anyway. So, you know.
But listen, we move. Big up to our boy South for coming on. It's another breaking news. You'll catch me here, obviously, tomorrow around about the same time. Make sure to do so. But obviously, I'm going to be on Staffy's channel now. American Waffle, make sure to tune in. And obviously, make sure to tune in 1 a.m. I'm going to try to hop on to Lewis's thing for Raw.
Listen,
that's going to be interesting, man. I can't wait for Raw today.
Tribal Chief match kicks off the show.
Listen, man. I hope he loses, man. Solo Nation, man. That's it. That's what it's
Final boss nation.
Big up to CM Punk Nation team, man. Big up to Straight Jacket Nation.
Yeah.
He's the real one still. Big up, guys.
Nation.